All right, so I thought we'd talk a little bit about stress, because everyone's pretty stressed in the world today. So let's discuss stress, because there is a bigger picture. We only see the small picture. So let's begin. When we're stressed, we usually have some really poor choices in coping mechanisms. Yeah, do we want to share a few coping mechanisms that we might have or previously had before we started meditation? Yeah, what about you, Helen?
I drink a bottle of wine.
Yep, I'm with you. That was my go-to, alcohol.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Overeating.
Overeating, that's a good one, yes. Emotional eating, isn't it? Yeah, where you go to the fridge, you're not even hungry, and you just go to the fridge and look for something to eat, and you're not really hungry. Yeah? Anything else?
Cigarettes.
Cigarettes, yes, cigarettes. Not so much now, I think not so many people smoke these days, do they? Because they realise how bad it is for them. What about these little things? Yeah, we just get on the phone and scroll and just check everything out. Yeah? Trying to get our mind off our problems. Anything else? Go on a holiday. Well, not everyone can afford that. We can't go very far these days. We have to stay in Australia. But yeah, I mean, we do. We have all these usually unhealthy, I wouldn't say our holiday's unhealthy, but we have like quite a few go-tos which are very unhealthy coping mechanisms that we tend to have. And what happens then is that makes us more stressed. Because I know when I used to be a drinker, and I drink a lot because I was always stressed, so I'd drink because I had my own business and everything, and I was just trying to squeeze too much in my life, trying to find happiness. And I was stressed because I couldn't be happy. And I was stressed because I was drinking all this wine, and then I had to have all this coffee to wake me up the next day. So I was drinking coffee all day, and then I'd have to have wine at night to calm me down and get rid of my stresses, or not get rid of them, but to, Band-Aid treatment really, to forget about my stresses. So it sort of started me on this really vicious cycle. And it used to stress me out because I knew it was really bad for my body, having all that alcohol, all that coffee, that caffeine. And I was quite a healthy person. Like, I always exercised and I always ate a healthy diet, and then here I was doing quite the opposite, trying to be healthy in one sense and then filling my body with alcohol and caffeine. So fortunately, when I came across meditation, I made that my coping mechanism. And it's a nice healthy coping mechanism, and there's no ugly side effects. Like with drinking, there's so many side effects. Cirrhosis of the liver. My doctor said to me just probably about 5 or 6 years ago now, he said, if you'd have kept drinking like you were, you would probably have cirrhosis of the liver now. But lucky I stopped at 30. I was young enough to regenerate what was, probably some problems with my liver. So I'm pretty healthy these days. But I gave up when I was about 30. But I took up my meditation, and if I felt like a glass of wine, if I was stressed, I would go and just do some bead meditation. Or I chanted a lot. So I would, if I was driving in the car, because I had 2 little kids at the time, which was pretty stressful. They were 1 and 3. They're now 29 and 31 almost. My goodness, time flies, doesn't it? But they were very stressful when they were little. I was a career girl. I had a career, had plenty of money, I had everything that I wanted, and then these kids came along and it was like, what happened to my life? I don't have one anymore. My life evolves around these 2 tiny little kids. I found it quite stressful, and the eldest one was quite a naughty little boy, very naughty. That was stressful as well. So I was always looking for something to help me to deal with my stress. But when I came across meditation, I would just use the mantras as my go-to. And I know a girl who, she was telling me that she was a smoker, a heavy smoker, and she, every time she felt like a cigarette, she would go and do 1 round of japa, like a full round with 108 beads. And then if she still felt like a cigarette, she'd do a second japa round. And she said that's how she gave up, because by the time she did her second round, then she didn't feel like a cigarette. So it is a really healthy coping mechanism. But we're really, when we're dealing with stress, we're really only looking at a small picture, because there's a much bigger picture that we need to be able to see. So why do we stress? Why do we get anxious? Why do we suffer from anxiety and these stress-related things? Because we are actually, it's a symptom of something much deeper, the symptom of an emptiness that we have inside of us. And if we're all truthful, we all have it. I've mentioned before on a few occasions that I used to go to these parties, and there was supposed to be these fun parties, and I was always at the chip and dip table, just drinking and eating dips and chips, just trying to fill up, because I was so empty inside. Yet I had everything I wanted. I had the money, I had the family, I had everything, but I was just so empty inside, and the chips and dips just didn't do it. No matter how many chips and dips I ate, I didn't feel, I didn't fill up. I was trying to fill up this spiritual void with material stuff. So the big picture is that we are a spirit soul. We are not our bodies. We are not our minds. We, the spirit soul, have been in this material world for who knows how long. It's said in the Vedas that it can be up to millions and millions of lifetimes. We don't know. It's said that we are here for so long, it's almost like we're, eternally conditioned. We're eternally on this wheel of birth and death. And it's known as samsara. We're going around birth, disease, old age and death, birth, disease, old age and death, just taking one body on after another. And every lifetime we have stress, we have anxiety, we have depression. We stress over so much stuff in our life. And bang, in the blink of an eye, we die. Where's the stress? Left it all behind, moved on to another body. You've got a whole new set of stresses and anxieties. And whatever we're going to be taking on these bodies, one after the other, we're going to be going through the same situation over and over and over again, dealing with our stress in one way or another. So what we really need to do is end the wheel of birth and death, because whenever we're in these bodies, we're going to be stressing. Meditation is great to help you deal with stress, and it will help to get you off the wheel of birth and death. It takes you in a totally different direction. It takes you off that wheel, heading back to the spiritual realm where we belong. We are we're an eternal spiritual being. We don't belong in a temporary material world. Does it make sense? If we're eternal and we're spiritual, do we belong in a temporary material world? No, we don't. We don't belong here. We belong in the spiritual world where everything is eternal and everything is blissful and everything's spiritual. In the spiritual world, there is no stress. There is no pain. There is no anxiety. There is no depression. There's only peace and happiness, blissfulness. It's described in the Vedas that it's more than happiness. It is ecstatic blissfulness. We're ecstatically blissful all the time. It doesn't go away. Here in the material realm, it goes away. We're always trying to clutch onto it, but it goes away. No, come back, come back. But it's gone, and then you're looking for something else, and then it goes. Nothing lasts. So, by taking up this practice, gradually over time, this emptiness will start to fill up. And the stresses of life are going to be here. Wherever we're in these material bodies, we're going to be dealing with stress. It's just built into this material realm. But when we have our meditation practice, we can deal with our stresses in a totally different way. So you see stress as it is. It's not this huge, overwhelming thing. We make mountains out of nothing. Not even molehills. We make mountains out of nothing. You know, we're eternal spirit souls temporarily in these material bodies. And we stress about everything in life. We've got to step back and see the bigger picture. Yeah, the reason I'm stressed because I have this underlying problem. I'm empty inside. And I need to fill up this emptiness. And I can't fill this void that I have with material stuff. No matter what it is, the alcohol. Does it fill you up? Does it fill this inner void that we have? No. Does the smoking do it? Does the phone does it? It just makes you more empty. Does this emotional eating fill you up? No, it doesn't fill you up. We need spiritual food to fill this spiritual void. And this mantra meditation is the spiritual food that will fill your spiritual void. You're wanting spiritual food. You need it. We need it. It's not like we want it, we need it. So this practice of mantra meditation, this kirtan, japa meditation on beads, this is what's going to fill the void. And I can vouch for it because, 30 odd years later, I'm not standing at the dip and chip table, am I? I never go to parties anymore because I don't want to be around the alcohol and the chips and dips because I've been there, done that, and it didn't work. We have to get a little bit sane here. If something is not working, you've got to go, hang on a minute, why isn't this working? We don't just keep doing it over and over again, and we tend to do that. I did it for years. And then suddenly I woke up and I go, hang on, nothing's filling me up, I'm empty. So I looked at in another direction, and I took up this meditation practice and I totally embraced it. I made it into a daily habit. Now it is just a lifelong habit for me. It's become more than a habit. It's my love affair. I don't even have a man in my life. I haven't had one for 11 years and I don't need one because I've got these mantras that fill me up. So much so that I don't need someone else to fill that void. I'm quite happy just with me and my mantras. So that is the best way to deal with stress. Get to the underlying reason why you are stressed. And it's because you don't understand that you're not the body and you're not the mind. That you're an eternal spiritual being and you need spiritual food. It's as simple as that. And if we give ourselves that spiritual food, you'll find you become less stressed because you see it as it is. It's not such a big deal after all. Most of the stuff, where are all the problems that you had 10 years ago? Do you remember them? What were you stressing? I remember some of them. It's embarrassing now what I used to stress over. Totally embarrassing. I'm going, oh my God. No wonder I don't have a husband. It's not all one-sided. But yeah, we stress over silly things really, and we've got to see the bigger picture and embrace these mantras. So I think that's all I have to say about stress tonight. Did anybody have any questions?
Oh yeah. What is the bead meditation? The
bead meditation, I will give you a little lesson tonight and I'll give you a set of beads.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
If anyone else wants a little lesson, it doesn't take long. And it's really wonderful. It's very powerful. I do it every day. I haven't missed a day since I started 29 years ago. Yeah, it keeps me grounded. I do it every morning before I do anything. I get up and have a shower, do my japa meditation, and I'm set for the day. And there are times, when there's an emergency or something and I haven't done my japa in the morning and it's like, wow, something's missing in my day. It's not the same.
Yeah,
you notice when you don't do it. So it's a given for me. I just avoid doing anything first thing in the morning. Everyone's different. Like some people, if they work really early, I know people that have to start at 5 o'clock. It's going to be really hard to get up at 3 and do some japa, So you can do it any time of the day. But I just find the morning's good for me because it just grounds me. Yeah. Anyone else? Yes. Oh, I had lots. Any dip, actually, as long as it was vegetarian. I was a vegetarian back then. All and every, as you can see. I still like my food. Actually, I don't really even eat dips now, though. I've moved on from that. I knew they didn't fill me out, so I stopped the dips. Hey? I do like a few chips, though. Still like me chips. All right, so I think we'll get back to some kirtan and do some more cleansing and some more spiritual nourishment. What do you reckon? Can't get enough of this kirtan. These ladies have been 3 times this week. How good are you? Linda's been 3 times. Oh, wow. Kerry? Only one Kerry. We'll have to do something about that.